Rangers escape with the win against the Seattle Kraken, which initially reminds me of the fact that they barely beat them in Seattle, but that was a different time of the season. But this was really not a well-played game by the Rangers. You get that matinee, weekend game against what should be an inferior opponent, but the Rangers, they're coming off 2 losses, so there's really no excuse for that. And obviously the Rangers, no Adam Fox is key. No Capo Caco is, even though, to some, he's been a disappointment to this point. That's a big loss right there for sure. I mean, he is a good two-way player, if nothing else. And has been someone that's been in the top 6 pretty much the whole season. Also Filipino. But the main point is that, although that being said, the Rangers have not been playing well lately. They were outshot 42-24. Igor Shesterkin, credit him, 40 saves. He has been just tremendous. 21st win of the season for Igor. There's not much more you can say other than, at this stage of the season, I don't know how he wouldn't be the front runner for the Vezina. Things can change, and it's not like he would be up by a great amount. But if you had to make your pick right now, I think Igor would be the Vezina winner. He's been that good. And honestly, should get some MVP consideration as well. Mika Zibanejad's another bright spot. Zibanejad, 3 points in this game, another goal for Mika. And, it's amazing how streaky he is, because it was, first, 20 so games into the season, maybe even more than that. It was just really, really bad. And he's just been one of their best players, and probably one of the best players in the NHL since that point. And Keandre Miller, he gets the game-winning goal with 33 seconds left after Seattle had just tied it up with 1:08 left. So, and you could tell Seattle was going to tie, and the Rangers almost blew another 2-0 lead. I mean, they kind of did, in the sense that Seattle tied it up. The Rangers were able to get the win, but that's 3 games in a row now where the Rangers relinquished a 2-0 lead, all in different shapes and sizes. Columbus was right away. Minnesota was in the second period. This one against Seattle late in the third, but the Rangers could really need this break. And the Rangers, they play the Florida Panthers coming up Tuesday night, and then they don't play for 2 weeks. So I'm not expecting much in the Florida game. Florida, the good thing is the Panthers do play the night before against Columbus. So, they might be a bit tired themselves, but we'll see. The Rangers, this will be the final matchup against the Panthers. The Rangers did win at home against Florida. Then they lost on the road to the Panthers. And they're going to need Shesterkin. The key, when I think back to those 2 games, was Shesterkin was excellent in that home game, which they won. So you never know. But I'll be really thrilled if they can win that game to end it like that before this big break. That would be, if they got it, that would be their 30th win. Right now, the Rangers are 29-13-4, which is an excellent record, but it is misleading. It is absolutely misleading. Obviously, I'd be much more upset if they had lost this game, but they did not play well, really at all. They were outshot 14-6 in the first, 11-6 in the second, and 17-12 in the third. That's it. And if Igor's not in net, we're not winning that game. It's just not going to happen. So, another bright spot in this game, Alexi Lafreniere, who, it's good that he's getting this amount of ice time, and he's playing with Mika and Kreider. Lafreniere, although in looking at the time on ice, 12:46. So really, Lafreniere did not play as much as I had thought he did, but still, for him to basically, his line was with Zibanejad and Kreider for the most part. What it might have been is when they were protecting the lead, because Goodrow played a lot. In fact, Goodrow was on for the last goal when Keandre Miller scored with the Zibanejad line. But Lafreniere draws a penalty, and the officiating in this game was not good. The officiating in this game was really, honestly, brutal for both sides. I think both teams would be upset about how it was officiated. One of the weaker games of the season that I've seen from the officials. But Lafreniere, whether it should have been called or not, it's called, and the Rangers get a power play, and that is the bread and butter. And no pun intended as far as bread, as Panarin with a beautiful pass. Mika Zibanejad, one-time slap shot right in his wheelhouse, scores his 17th goal of the season from Panarin and Trouba. So Jacob Trouba, you're going to get – that's the thing, when you're going to be in that power play one spot, the points are going to increase. Trouba was getting points on his own before this, but Trouba, since Fox went down, you're seeing Trouba even getting more points. And so he gets an assist as well. So Mika from Panarin and Trouba at 11:46 gives the Rangers a 1-0 lead. And then Libor Hájek takes a penalty at 14:08. And Hájek did not play a whole lot in this game, only 11:48. That's just a very unideal situation. Libor Hájek just playing, it just doesn't make me feel good. I don't think it's something that we're going to see too often for many reasons, right? Fox is out. Even Nemeth is out. That right there, just Fox coming back alone, let's just say, that should take Hájek out. Certainly, with both of them back, he should definitely be out because Braden Schneider has emerged. Braden Schneider has emerged as a guy that's his job. What Nils Lundkvist initially had is now Braden Schneider's, and he has run with it. He played 21:56 tonight, taking Fox's spot with Lindgren. I like what I'm seeing from Braden Schneider. Really impressive. He's holding his own as a young defenseman. So that is a really good sign. And so you're not really going to see Libor Hájek for reasons like that. But the Rangers, they kill that penalty, and they're up 1-0 going into the second. And then at 4:23, really nice pass by Zach Jones, his first point of the season, to Zibanejad, who rips that one-timer, goes off the post, and Lafreniere puts it in front. It's crazy. Most of Lafreniere's goals are just empty nets, where not in the literal sense, at the end of games, although if I think about it, maybe he had, out of his 9 goals, maybe there was one earlier. But Lafreniere, it's again, there's a knack for being near the crease and scoring goals like that. But it is funny how Lafreniere, it was the easiest goal you could score, but give him credit that there had been a good shift, a couple of good shifts in that sequence, which we hadn't seen this game. But Mika with a great shot that rings off the post. Lafreniere puts it in. Nice assist by Jones initially, and then makes it 2-0. But there it is, the dreaded 2-0 lead. So you know what's about to come. And that would be, of course, a goal by the Seattle Kraken. And it would be Jared McCann at 7:17. This was a goal where the now third line, Rooney with Hunt and Reeves, that was a fourth line for a good amount of time earlier in the season. And as a fourth line, sure, you could live with that. And even I say that cautiously. But that line was not a great goal by Igor. That's a goal that he would want to have back. So Igor didn't help it. Ryan Reeves, I say this a lot, but in a perfect situation, he's someone that, doesn't play every single night. Sure, maybe most nights, but, you'd like to have that flexibility there. But the way the state of the Ranger roster, he's going to play all the time. And Dryden Hunt, it's interesting. Dryden Hunt actually ended up moving because I think what happened, there was a point in time because the bottom 6 was so bad. The fourth line, mind you, was McKegg, Brodzinski, and Gauthier, which barely got any ice time. So this Rooney line was essentially the third line. Because the bottom 6 was so bad, they moved. I think this is why they did it. Goodrow moved down with the Rooney line, and Hunt, who didn't deserve it, moved up with Panarin and Strome. It kind of worked probably. I don't think it's going to stick that way, but it worked. So it's 2-1 at that point. Then a poor penalty call on Jacob Trouba interference at 12:44 of the second. Didn't agree with that. Just seemed like a clean hit, good timing. So I don't know why that was an interference penalty, but the Rangers somehow escape up 2-1 going into the third. Then the third starts out good. Dryden Hunt with Panarin and Strome at that point draws a tripping penalty. Unsuccessful power play for the Rangers. Then Ryan Reeves with a high sticking penalty. You can't do that. When you're not going to produce, you can't be taking penalties, and Reeves does, but the Rangers kill that one off. Then you have a situation where Panarin is hooked on a breakaway. Was hoping maybe that could be a penalty shot, but it wasn't. So the Rangers get a power play, but 3 seconds after, Chris Kreider's called for holding. So then it's just 4-on-4 play for basically the next 2 minutes, and no one scores there. Then, Seattle's going and going and going, and there's a penalty on Mika Zibanejad, a tripping call, which was a weak call, but It's more the problem that the Rangers were just hemmed in their own zone. Like, you just knew something bad was going to happen, and it does. As on that power play, 6-on-4, goalie pulled, Yanni Gord scores with 1:08 left, and they tied at 2-2. And at that point, I'm thinking, like, this was bound to happen and deserved. Absolutely deserved. And so we're tied up at 2, and I'm thinking, all right, like, we're likely headed to overtime. But we've seen the Rangers lately. I mean, the last game against Minnesota, they scored on a Zibanejad faceoff win where Kreider scores. Here it's a Zibanejad faceoff win, and Keandre Miller gets the game-winning goal. Kreider, probably gets away with the penalty. But again, the officiating was so bad. Like, the Mika call just before it was questionable. Like I said, really, you could question almost every call, not all of them, whether it was a non-call, just really bad officiating, and the Rangers take advantage of it. A good face-off by Zibanejad and a really nice shot by Keandre Miller to get it past Grubauer, the Kraken goalie. That's Keandre Miller's third goal of the season, but a really big one. And so the Rangers win it 3-2. They found a way in a game that, like, you shouldn't be finding ways home against the Seattle Kraken, but here we are. Like I said, really thoroughly getting outshot, but Shesterkin was huge. You get major contributions from Zibanejad, and it's nice to see Keandre Miller step up in a late-game situation. So, again, Rangers with the win, hoping to maybe get that 30th win of the season against the Panthers on Tuesday before the 2-week stretch break. But thoughts aren't too high for this Florida game, but will be interesting nonetheless, and maybe, just maybe, Igor Shesterkin can yet again stand on his head for the Rangers.